Hey, hey, hey. Happy Wednesday. Come on in. Pull up a chair. The Gaming Gang Dispatch is in the air. Howdy, gang, and welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host, here at the Gaming Gang Dispatch. Welcome aboard, everybody. Tonight is Wednesday, March 14th. See, now I'm all discombobulated with this stream here. Wednesday, March 14th, 2024. Hey, I got the year right at least. This is live stream number 1032. So welcome aboard. If you're not overly familiar with this show, let me point out, super casual. Just hanging out, talking about the latest in tabletop gaming news. And I'll usually pontificate about something that's going on in our hobby. But we are certainly not engaged in any sort of mental heavy lifting of any sort. Yeah, it's pretty chill around here. Of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit gaminggang.com for all latest in tabletop gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more you will not find here on the YouTube channel. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. And of course, this is a live show, so that means there is chat available. It's not on screen. It's one of the ways to keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay. And you must be a subscriber to the channel for at least 48 hours before taking part in chat. But if you want to say howdy, maybe you've got a question, a comment, maybe there's a topic we can talk about after the news, of course, by all means, chime in and I will do my very best to respond. So let's take a peek here. I saw somebody in chat said that they are seeing a lot of lag. So let's see. Well, I'm not showing any drop frames, but I am showing kind of a bit of an up and down with the stream. I'll tell you what, I think in all reality here, I do think YouTube is having some problems tonight because, for one, I started the stream at 7, get about 8 minutes into it, and I noticed in chat there isn't a soul, which is really unusual. I mean, I'm not saying that we have, 200 people hanging out watching the show live, but there's at least one person within the first 3 minutes of the show saying hello in chat. Nothing, zero, zip. So I'm like, okay. So I took a look and I see that it's not streaming. So I bring up the live stream window on YouTube. Shows me nothing. It's like, okay. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? So I go and I take a peek, and if you don't stream, you're not aware of this, but the way to make sure that no one can get into your channel and stream or do whatever, you need to have a stream key. So it's 20 digits long, what have you. So I take a peek, and YouTube has changed the stream key that you enter into your software that you use to stream. And this happens every once in a while. And it's sort of like, well, geez, thanks, YouTube. I'm so glad you informed me of this because, of course, that never happens. So I figured, okay, so what I want to do is I want to make sure that I don't have to fill out all the information about the show again. So once I had stopped the stream, I, was playing around, tried to get it started again, and then it starts up, but chat won't open up. I'm like, what the hell? Can't get chat to open. So I stop, go back, and I look, and I had changed the video to private, the one that I had just a few seconds of, right? So I changed that to private so that people don't see it, and they're like, oh, that's the show, and they get all of 30 seconds of me going, what the hell? What the hell's going on? So I'm thinking, okay, so I changed the video that's finished to private. Why did it change the stream to private? Sometimes I wonder, what's going on upstairs with some of these people who put together the UI for YouTube, because a lot of times it just makes no fucking sense. So I'm like, so I changed the video to private, so that suddenly made the stream private. So I started trying to stream that, and there was no chat. I kept trying to open up a chat window, and it's saying, chat's not available at this time. It's like, what the hell? And then, of course, some people are talking about there being some issues with lag, which there shouldn't be. Although I see this bopping up and down. This is what I don't like. See, it is possible. Let me see what I'm on here. Well, I'm on the backup YouTube server because I thought, well, maybe if it's on the primary server, maybe that was causing some issues, because I know sometimes the primary server, because as far as I understand, there are essentially two main servers. I'm sure they're massive, but still. So I'm going to just change the quality of the video. That doesn't seem to be changing anything here either. All right, we're going to get into the news in just a moment. So in chat, we've got Kathy Evans, Kevin R. Smith, Jose Fernandez, Tessie Trekkie is with us. The lovely and talented Miss Sarah D., who is one of our chat moderators, is hanging with the gang, as is Matthew Constantine, and Travis Williams. Coco B is popping on in, said it was kind of laggy and stuttering when they first started watching, but now it's okay. That is weird. So what I'll do here is I will just do a quick packet test. Because that usually will tell me what's going on. A lot of times I can just see visually while it's doing the test. Actually, it doesn't look like there should be really much problem to it. Nope, it is a YouTube thing, ladies and gents. It is YouTube. No packet loss on the upload, no packet loss on the download either. YouTube's just not behaving, kids. Sorry about that, but there isn't anything I can do about it. Sir D also points out they changed the quality up, well, changed it down and popped it back up, and that seemed to work. Yeah, like I said, I think it's a YouTube thing, because for one, when I was trying to get to the live stream to see, hey, is this even streaming? it was taking a long time for that page to load up. And then I went and opened up Google real quick on another tab, and it just popped right on up. And yes, of course, I understand caches and things like that, but still, I think it's a YouTube issue that's going on tonight. All right, let's jump on into the news. Let's hope that maybe, just maybe, we get a handle on this. Anyway, returning to print from KOSMOS, from KOSMOS in May is Masters of Crime Vendetta. Here's the latest. Each title in the Masters of Crime story-driven game series puts players in the shoes of the characters as they sift through evidence, unearth clues, and solve puzzles together to solve a crime. Interactive gameplay seamlessly integrates real-world resources into your sleuthing, including Google Maps, phone numbers, websites, and more. Each story has multiple outcomes. Which path will your group choose? In Vendetta, you make your way through the dark, rainy streets of New York City. I hear they make some pretty good salsa in New York City. The Godfather himself has summoned you to his office. He confides in you his terrible suspicion. There's a traitor in the ranks of the family. You must investigate the loyal family members. Loyal. Examine documents and interview witnesses. Every decision affects how the story develops. Will you restore your family's code and identify the rogue mafia member? Masters of Crime Vendetta is for 1 to 5 players, ages 16 and up, because it is intended for a more mature audience. Plays in about 2 to 4 hours and will carry an MSRP of $24.95 when it lands in stores in May. I am not familiar with the Masters of Crime series, but I get the feeling it is a bit similar to the Exit series of games. Probably a little bit more deduction and sleuthing going on. And it's probably aimed at more adult gamers than most of the Exit games might happen to be. This could be really interesting. Now, it says there's multiple endings, but I would take a guess once you've played through it once, you probably can't go back and play it again. Probably not. Matthew Constantine says, New York City? That's where my salsa is made. Delicious. Delicious. So Kevin R. Smith says, so we've got closing and reopening the tab, refreshing the page, and changing video quality as workarounds. Yes. I guess the ultimate workaround would be go watch something else, huh? Hopefully things are okay. It just keeps jumping up and down. So hopefully it's gotten a little bit better. But usually when I see stuff where it's like, oh, it's like 17,000 kilobits per second, and then it drops down to 0. And then it's like 19,000 kilobits per second, 0. See, now it looks like it's kind of steadying out, because it's showing me 12,000, 7,000, 14,000, 6,000. So might be steadying out where it's not just jumping 19,000, 0. Oh, YouTube. I guess I'll just have to move to TikTok now. That's right. So I'll have, like 300 and some streams in an evening, 30 seconds a pop. Moving right along, let's talk about some role-playing game news, because now available in print and PDF from Exalted Funeral is Closet of the Eye Wizard for Dungeon Crawl Classics. Here's the skinny from Planet X Games. Welcome to the Closet of the Eye Wizard. Open your inner eye and explore the sepulchral mysteries of Loz, the Eye Wizard. Some say he was a master of eldritch high magics who was without peer, cast down in a titanic battle that raged across the land. Others whisper of an ascendance to godhood in ages past, long and forgotten to the merciless ravages of time. What is inarguable is the legacy he left behind. The many wondrous magical hats, sorcerous leghorns, and mysterious caps dwelling within his arcane closet. Inside this zine, you'll find them all specifically created by the DCC community for the DCC community. The Closet of the Eye Wizard is a community project written and illustrated by an absolute murderer's row of fantastic indie role-playing game creators. Each and every page is designed differently, making this just as much of an art zine as it is a useful role-playing game resource. Let's hope it's more useful RPG resource than art zine. Some pages are colors, some are black and white, but all of them have the weird fantasy look and feel you've come to expect from a Dungeon Crawl Classics compatible resource. I do have to say, I really like the art. But when I see a game supplement, I hope it's more game supplement than art book, because otherwise advertise it as an art book. But as you can see, the artwork's really well done. This 32-page digest-sized softcover with PDF is available over at Exalted Funeral for an MSRP of $20, or you can grab just the PDF alone for $10. Also at Exalted Funeral, you can't pick this up over at Drive-Thru RPG. But it looks pretty interesting. And like I said, I like the artwork quite a bit. It's just I hope that it's more game supplement than art book. All right, moving right along. Troll Lord Games has launched a Kickstarter to reprint Gary Gygax's World Builders Archive. The publisher is actually looking to bring all 7 volumes back to the role-playing game masses, as well as possibly releasing the 3 volumes which never had an opportunity to see the light of day. Here's what I know. Gary Gygax's World Builders Archive is an encyclopedic series envisioned by the co-creator of Dungeons & Dragons, Gary Gygax, thus the title. He conceived the series as an open-ended collection of role-playing gaming aids for the game master and the player, whose specific focus was creating setting, adventures, and world building. Each of the volumes was written, co-written, or edited by Mr. Gygax. His overall goal and the intent was to eventually cover all the bases of our gaming world. The first of these books, The Canting Crew, was published in 2001. 6 volumes followed, and more were planned before his passing in 2008. Now, for the first time since they were pulled from the market in 2008, this collection of Gygaxian knowledge returns to the gaming world. Through this Kickstarter, Troll Lord Games is hoping to bring back all 7 volumes and more. You can join them in reviving part of our gaming heritage and flood your own table with mountains of gaming content. So the game plan is to see these return as hardcover books with new covers, re-edited, laid out with new full-color art and design, and an overall new look, something befitting Gary and his amazing work. Now, the first 7 books are going to be print and PDF. The final 3 currently are planned for PDF only, but there are some stretch goals in this Kickstarter which would bring them into hardcover. Now, there is a short Kickstarter video. It's about 1.5 minutes. And Steven Schnault of Troll Lord Games is going to tell you a little bit more about this project.
Back in 2001, when we first began working with Gary Gygax, he pitched this wonderful series of books to us. He called them the Gygaxian Fantasy Worlds, and what he envisioned was this encyclopedic set of books for role players, writers, game designers, the whole lot of us, that we could use in making our games, creating our adventures, writing stuff for publishable content, whatever it may be. And there was really no end to what he envisioned this series to be. We eventually published The Canting Crew, The World Builder, Living Fantasy, 7 volumes in total. We had another 3 that were ready to go to print, another 3 or 4 after that we were working on. So the series was really open-ended. We are bringing these back. That's what this Kickstarter is. We've got 7 books online ready to be printed. We've got another 3 right after that we want to get it minimally out as we were working on them at the time. Those will be out definitely in PDF, depending on how well the Kickstarter does, and maybe even more than that once we kind of push beyond the necessary stretch goals and all that mess. But welcome to the what we're calling the Gary Gygax World Building Archives, and please give us your support. Share it around if you can. Pledge if you can. Whatever you need to do, whatever you can do for us and the memory of Gary Gygax, we very much appreciate it.
Trollord Games. Join the fray.
This project is already past the 700% funding mark. It actually kicked off yesterday. And you can choose a single book in hardcover with PDF for a $50 pledge. You can score all 7 volumes in PDF for a $110 pledge, or grab them all in print with PDFs, of course, for a $250 pledge through April 10th. Expected delivery is June 2025. If you are curious to learn more about this Kickstarter project, I did an interview with Stephen Chenault and Davis Chenault, and we talked about this in quite a bit of depth. So by all means, it is on the channel here. You can also, of course, find it over on thegaminggang.com. And it's a fun interview. I kid around quite a bit more than usual since I sort of know them now. Because first time I interviewed them, I really had never spoken to them. I had only really spoken to Chuck. So by all means, check this out. Matthew Constantine says, that eye wizard thing looks cool. I just did my first order with Exalted Funeral. Good experience. That is how I got my first edition copy of Ultraviolet Grasslands. I got that. If I remember correctly, that is also how I got my Old School Essentials classic fantasy tome, as well as the 2 advanced fantasy books, was through Exalted Funeral. And yeah, I had absolutely no issues about it. I did get the Ultraviolet Grasslands through a Black Friday sale, so I had picked up a few things. In fact, that's how I got the, what is it considered, 0 edition Mothership. Only issue I had was it took a bit for them to ship the order out. It took about 2 weeks before it shipped, and I was sort of like, let's see. Well, so Matthew Constantine says their order was actually Ultraviolet Grasslands, the new edition, and several expansions for it. Very nice. Very cool. Tessie Trekkie points out they like a lot of Gary's ideas, but there's a reason people talk about the Gygaxian writing style. What? How dare you, Tessie Trekkie? Sarah D., ban them. Get that ban hammer out. Sacrilege. I'm just joking. Yes, of course. High Gygaxian is the term that most people will use. I thought that later on, when he was writing for other companies, after he was shown the door from TSR, like Legendary Adventures and things like that, I thought he had kind of lightened up on the High Gygaxian. Now, I don't know for sure because I've never read any of those role-playing games that he did for other companies, so I can't tell you. But I thought I had heard that he became easier to read. So there you have that. W. Forge is with us. In case I did not say hello, I see Sly Blue Demon is also swinging on in. Said they want to grab these, but it's on the pricey side. Well, if you get all 7, $250 for all 7. Yeah. You're essentially getting like 2 books for free, but still, I could see you. I could see you. It all, a lot of it depends on what the page count is too. So I do not know what the page count on these would be. I'm taking a wild guess. We're probably talking 200, 230, somewhere in that vicinity. So $50 a pop might be a little pricey. I will point out that Troll Lord Games is working with the rights holders, I guess we'll say, for Gary Gygax's work. And they're trying to prove to them that his work is still profitable, that they can bring money in to the estate through these various different Kickstarters like they did for The Hermit. And the rights holders said, okay, because it's, if I remember correctly, I think it's a bunch of lawyers who this stuff has to go through. It's not really the Gygax estate, because I think the Gygax estate is rather fractured. I don't know for sure. I don't want to, speak out of term because I don't know. But I've heard things, online, right? So I don't know. But it is not like the kids or his widow who, holds the rights to this stuff, or who can, approve going forward with, doing print runs of these things. It is someone else who is making that call. I don't want to say executors because I don't think that's really what they are. But I think that might be one of the reasons why we are seeing these be probably a little higher in price than you would expect. Kevin R. Smith says, I wouldn't be surprised if Gygax was easier to read later. Tim Cass said in an interview somewhere that in the 70s, they put in big words to build readers' vocabularies. Kevin R. Smith says, I think the word is trustees. You know what? I think you are right. I think they are the trustees to his work. Like I said, it's not anybody who's part of the family, as far as I understand. So Sly Blue Demon says, might grab them later on if they hit the store. I will say, I think the PDF pledge level, the 110 for all 7, I think that's a solid deal. I think that's pretty good. Speaking of solid deals, Just Crunch Games has teamed with Bundle of Holding to bring you a money-saving offer on the Cthulhu Hack 2nd Edition. And I've got the deets on the deal. Investigator. We've respawned the October 2021 Cthulhu Hack Bundle, now enhanced with the new 2024 2nd edition of Cthulhu Hack, the simple and accessible Mythos tabletop role-playing game from Just Crunch Games. This fast-playing standalone investigative game based on David Black's minimalist fantasy role-playing game, The Black Hack, pits ordinary people against the sanity-shattering horrors of the Cthulhu mythos. With simple save die rolls and 3 resources, flashlights, smokes, and sanity, Cthulhu Hack deftly supports published investigations and campaigns for any mythos role-playing game. Learn the whole system in 20 minutes. Teach it to your players in 5 minutes more, and in another 5, their characters will be ready for a slow spiral into self-destruction. And then give them another 5, and it's a total party kill, and you've enjoyed your 35 minutes of gameplay for the night. This revival also brings back the core rulebook for the Just Crunch role-playing game, the D Sanction. In 16th century England, you're a disreputable amateur agent for occultist Dr. John Dee, hunting supernatural threats and hoping to earn a pardon. For just $5.95, you'll get all 6 titles in this revived offers starter collection, which has a retail value of $29.50 as DRM-free PDFs, including the complete Cthulhu Hack 2nd Edition core book, the new 2nd Edition version of the short campaign Forgotten Duty, the Dark Brood source book about Shub Niggurath, and 2 mini source books from Unformed Realms, from Unformed Realms, not wearing a uniform there, and Strange Materials. And if you pay more than the current threshold price of $18, you'll level up and also get this revival's entire bonus collection with 7 more titles worth an additional $57.50, including the D-Sanction core book and 6 Cthulhu Hack source books and investigations. 3 are newly added in this revival: Haunter the Dark 2nd Edition, Through Centuries Fixed 2nd Edition, and the Australia source book Island of Ignorance. And again, if you've purchased this in the past, in that 2001 bundle of holding, you're actually going to find those 3 PDFs added to your collection. Also, returning alongside these newcomers are the investigations Mother's Love, 3 Faces of the Wendigo, and Valkyrie 9. These savings will run through March 27th. I've got to say, if you just pick up the PDF for the Cthulhu Hack 2nd Edition, I think it's $15 if you want to drive through RPG. So for $18, you can actually get 13 PDFs. You get that core book. You also get the D-Sanction. And you get adventures. Pretty wild. This is a really good deal. I got to say, at least in my opinion, this strikes me as one of the better deals we have seen recently from Bundle of Holding. I mean, you really are saving a good amount of dough. So if you are interested in the 2nd edition of the Cthulhu Hack, the time is right. The stars are right for you to save some money. I would be curious about trying to run like one of the big, massive Call of Cthulhu campaigns using something like this. So like Horror on the Orient Express, or say Massive Nyarlathotep. I would be very, very curious. I think it would probably be pretty fun. You know, running something that's pretty rules light. I like the Black Hack. I think the Black Hack is really well done. There are some things that I crib from it for fantasy role-playing games. So there you have that. Perkins Dearborn is hanging with us. Says, Cthulhu content is great for inspiration. Love to play a period game with horror theme. 245 Trioxin and Nathaniel Carries, taking a stab at that, I'm sure it's wrong, is in chat with us. And I believe this might be a first-time visit for Nathaniel. So welcome aboard. Thanks for joining us. 245 Trioxin says, I can't imagine it's better than Call of Cthulhu. Well, I'm not implying it is. Certainly not. But there are a lot of people out there who find Call of Cthulhu to be kind of overwhelming mechanically. I don't know why, to be honest. I mean, it is pretty intuitive, at least in my opinion. But I don't know. But I had always heard some good things about the Cthulhu hack. So hopefully the second edition is even better. Final news piece of the night. Star Trek Adventures Federation Klingon War Tactical Campaign is now out in print and PDF. I've got the latest from Modiphius Entertainment. The Federation Klingon War Tactical Campaign expands upon the core Star Trek Adventures role-playing game experience by providing a campaign that parallels the Klingon War story arc depicted in the first season of Star Trek Discovery. This tactical campaign enables you and your group to explore what was happening elsewhere in the Federation during this perilous time. With a plethora of additional rules variations to embrace the emotional toil of being thrust into a war, this campaign gives you the tools to build exciting narratives during the war. Additionally, this book includes rules for an all-new, procedurally generated campaign overlay that gives players the opportunity to take on the roles of admirals, assigning assets to deal with Klingon threats across the galaxy. How will war take its toll on you and your allies? The Federation Klingon War Tactical Campaign is a 232-page, full-color, hardback book and contains an extensive discussion of the state of the galaxy before and during the Federation Klingon War in 2256 and 2257. An in-depth look at 12 wartime roles, along with how typical Starfleet roles change during wartime. A new system that applies scars to characters, representing the toll war has had on them. 15 new talents, focusing on both the tactical and diplomatic theaters of war. More than 25 named starships, Federation and Klingon, that were part of the war effort. 6 new playable species, including Anar, Arcadian, Ariel, Betelgeusian, Coridanites, and Megarites. Over 20 war-focused mission briefs, including tactical, routine, exploration, and unknown mission options. A wealth of advice on game mastering wartime campaigns and ensuring all players feel safe while playing in war campaigns. Personally, I think that's silly. Put that in there. There's also an optional campaign overlay that puts the players in the roles of admirals while making decisions about the war effort, as well as optional rule sets that enhance the tactical side of role-playing. Of course, this book does require the Star Trek Adventures core rulebook in order to use, and you'll receive the accompanying PDF when you make your purchase. The 232-page hardcover with PDF carries an MSRP of $45. I'll get to that in just a second. Or you can grab just the PDF alone over at Drive-Thru RPG for $18. So the reason why I mentioned I'll get to that hardcover with PDF in just a second is I don't know if you purchase the book anywhere other than Modiphius if you get the PDF. And I will say the MSRP, if you order it from Modiphius Entertainment, is higher than if you order it online. And I'm not even throwing in any sort of discounts for an online retailer. So if you buy it from Modiphius Entertainment, this is weird because I've never seen something like this with them. I want to say the MSRP is like $53. It's an approximation because, of course, it's the exchange rate because Modiphius Entertainment is over in England. But the MSRP for U.S. retailers is $45. So it's kind of like, So if you really want to get that PDF, you might want to reach out to Modiphius Entertainment and find out if they're putting a sticker in the book, like sometimes they have in the past, with a code for you to get it at Drive-Thru RPG, or maybe not. But I will also say that $18 for the PDF is actually a pretty nice price. It's less than half of the actual hardcover book, which is unusual too. So there is that. So Nathaniel says, yes, it is the first time visit in chat. Well, thank you for taking some time out to hang with the gang. Nathaniel also points out they think Star Trek would be awesome, but they've always heard lukewarm endorsements of the 2D20 system. Man, this is like a nightly thing, folks. It is, isn't it? I don't think we've got our resident 2D20 expert, who I believe would be Kevin King. I think he's usually the one who sticks up for 2D20. So one thing I will point out is that 2D20 is not the same with every game that Modiphius Entertainment releases. There are crunchier versions and there are far more rules light versions. And the Star Trek Adventures role-playing game is certainly on the rules light side of things. So if you've heard that, 2D20 is pretty complex, it is not so with Star Trek Adventures. It is still different. I mean, but it's not crazy different. It's still a roll under to succeed system on a 20-sided die. You just might find yourself rolling more 20-sided dice instead of just one, thus being called 2D20. And Darius Termina is with us. Good to see you once again. Says, wow, Federation Klingon Wars. I wonder if they'll do a Federation versus Cardassian book then. There are 4 lights. I can bust that out of anywhere and make my best friend Elliot Miller bust out laughing. Yeah. That was that's probably a relatively deep cut for you folks out there who did not watch Star Trek Next Generation. You're probably like, what the 4 lights? What? What the hell is Jeff seeing lights? I don't know what's going on. All righty then. That is it for the news tonight. Of course, I was just talking about Drive-Thru RPG. Don't forget, the Gaming Gang, thus the Dispatch, is affiliated with the One Bookshelf sites. So if you are going to visit, say, Drive-Thru RPG or Dungeon Masters Guild, Storyteller's Vault, Wargame Vault, what have you, by all means, please stop by thegaminggang.com first. Click on one of our banner ads. That way, if you happen to make a purchase, I get a small portion of that sale. And all those nickels, dimes, and quarters really do add up and help keep thegaminggang.com around. Also, if you like this video, if you dig the channel, if you find thegaminggang.com to be a valuable resource, hell, if you just like what we do, then by all means, please stop by paypal.me/thegaminggang to make a small donation. You can buy me a 2-liter bottle of soda. Delicious. And of course, do want to thank Agile Monk, the Madman, and Joshua Edwards, who I will not reveal what their nickname is in chat. They are hanging out in chat, though, for stopping by paypal.me/thegaminggang and making not small donations. And I really do want to mention Joshua Edwards shared an incredible $250 donation to the channel. And last year, towards the end of the year, he had donated $200 toward the channel. So big tip of the cap to Mr. Joshua Edwards. And of course, everyone who uses those banner ads and or stops by paypal.me, the gaming gang. Thank you very, very much. So, and Darius is like, yep, they knew what the deep cut was. Picard being tortured by a Cardassian interrogator who was played by David Warner, who actually appeared in, didn't David Warner play something like 5 or 6 characters throughout the lifetime of Star Trek? I think he did. I know it was a lot. I always liked David Warner. I remember first time I ever saw him was in the movie, I believe it's called Time After Time, where Malcolm McDowell plays H.G. Wells, and he really does create a time machine, which looks like the time machine from the Rod Taylor time machine film, pretty close to it. And he's actually friends with Jack the Ripper. He doesn't know he's Jack the Ripper, and Jack the Ripper steals his time machine. It's actually a pretty decent movie, considering, it's all right. And that was the first time I remember seeing David Warner in a movie. And yeah, David Warner's Jack the Ripper, like I said. All righty then. So I am going to be giving away a copy of Alien Building Better Worlds in PDF in a few moments. But first, I think it's time for a brief intermission.
It's intermission time, folks. Time out for a delicious snack in our sparkling refreshment building. Every item a fresh, appetizing taste treat.
I'm Rodeo Joe, big star of the show. Oh, I'm strong and I'm spry, yippee-yay, yippee-yi, 'cause I drink T-O-D-D-Y.
Yes, Toddy, the chocolate malt in a can that tastes as good or better than the kind you get at your favorite soda fountain. Made with rich, real milk, not powdered milk.
Man, oh man, it's toddy for me.
Me too.
Me 3.
Yes, cold or hot, it hits the spot. So toddle to the bar, take it back to the car, get that chocolate malted Toddy. Toddy pleases everybody.
Mmm, delicious.
Give me the eggs and no Wilkins coffee.
Give him the eggs, boys. A meal without Wilkins is a mess.
First you take your hammer, then you aim it straight. Hold it tight, swing it right. Bash! It's great. Oh, it's bash, bash, bash. Brand new Milton Bradley game. Bash, bash, bash. Great new Milton Bradley game. Everybody gets a turn to hit 'em where you choose. But if you're too strong or you hit 'em wrong, bash! You lose. Oh, it's bash, bash, bash. Brand new Milton Bradley game. Bash, bash, bash. Great new Milton Bradley game. Remember, Milton Bradley makes the best games in the world. Get bash, bash, bash,
like it. Smashing.
And now, on with the show.
Hey kids, why don't you prepare for murdering your parents by playing Bash? I don't know. Those two kids look... Uh-huh. Were they trying out for the bad seed? Very, very strange. Very, very strange. So W Forge is blaming their tablet for their poor spelling. What do they say? Poor carpenter always blames their tools. Is that it? Just joking. Travis Williams asked if they were going to get another Crossing the Street public information film. No, 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 no. Kevin King is with us. There we go. Kevin King has joined us. As I mentioned, I believe Kevin is our 2D20 expert. So once again, we heard somebody talking about, in fact, a newcomer to chat, Nathaniel, talking about they'd heard things about 2D20. I said it seems like every time we do a Modiphius news piece, someone in chat saying, I'd be interested in XYZ game. But, I hear things about that 2D20. Yes, Matthew Constantine said serial killer training game. Yeah, there you go. All righty. So I am going to give away a copy of Alien, the role-playing game, Building Better Worlds in PDF to a lucky viewer tonight. I'm going to ask you a trivia question. First person to get this correct is going to, it's Matthew Constantine's like, splink. Yes, thank you, John Pertwee. We will always remember splink when we go to cross the street. Anyway, I'm going to ask you a trivia question. First person to give me the correct answer is going to win. If you are the winner, please email me at jeffmcaleer@thegaminggang.com with your email address so I can get you a copy of it in PDF. So, the trivia question is, which major superhero was the first to clash with the alien Xeno? Yes, who battled the Xenomorph first? So, I don't know how quickly you'll be able to Google that. I'm sure it's out there. I'm sure it is somewhere. And I am not giving any clues. Should mention, today is a War Game Wednesday. I shouldn't say I did it today. I shared the video today of my unboxing and first look at Banish All Their Fears from GMT Games. Excuse me. And I thought it looked pretty impressive. It is the first volume in the Bayonets and Muskets series. Strangely enough, you would think it's Muskets and Bayonets, but no, it's Bayonets and Muskets. That's why I paused for a second. So the guesses are coming hot and heavy. I should mention, you get one guess. So don't keep throwing all this stuff out there, So everybody should get a chance. And then if I don't see a winner, then I'll let everybody take another, round. But rather than sitting there banging out like every Ghost Rider, Nick Fury. Try to give, people a chance who want to get into this. So if you're going to cross the street, always remember, blink. I'm not going to explain it. You need to see that episode of the show. Next Wednesday, I will be taking a look at Rebel Fury from GMT Games. This actually just showed up. This arrived yesterday, and this is from Mark Herman, excellent designer, and it includes 6 battles, which I was pretty shocked. So it contains the battles of, actually, I'll look at the front. Fredericksburg, Chancellorsville, Chickamauga, Chattanooga, the Wilderness, and Spotsylvania. I was really surprised. This is the first volume in the Civil War Heritage season. I'm telling you, the weirdness at the beginning of the show has thrown me off for much of this episode. Kevin King says Marvel had the rights. Well, they have the license to do comics with Alien right now. Travis Williams is our winner. Travis Williams is our winner. It is Batman. Batman is the first major superhero that tangled with an alien from the Alien franchise. He also tangled with the Predator. We're talking, this is back late 80s, early 90s, thereabouts. Cistern is with us in chat. Threw out a pretty good guess, pretty cool guess. Silver Surfer. So Travis Williams says, no, I think Batman was Predator. It was both, actually. Batman took on both first. He was the first superhero to take on both of them. And Predator was the first. The Predator, it was a graphic novel, if I remember correctly, him tackling. The Predator comes to Gotham City. W. Force says they remember Superman in a Red Sun environment having to fight aliens in a limited series. Matthew Constantine says they read Green Lantern versus Alien. It wasn't bad. Yeah, because usually those sort of things are not too great. I do remember the Predator Batman. I said it was a graphic novel. If I remember correctly, it was actually what they considered at the time. They called it a prestige format. So it kind of had a cardstock cover. And they would usually clock in about probably 45 pages or so. And if memory serves, I think it was a three-issue series, but it was in the prestige format. Just like a pretty famous Batman Elseworlds, they used to call it, where they would have Batman in these different settings, and that was Gotham by Gaslight. It was Batman in the Victorian era. It was actually really good. I think they reprint that from time to time, too. And just the costume for Batman in the Victorian era is pretty cool. It's pretty cool looking. All right, so congratulations to Travis Williams. Shoot me an email. I will get that out to you. So I should also point out that today I received a box from Glenn Seal over at Blug. What the hell is with me tonight? Blug. It's Blug Monkey. At least I got Glenn's name right. Glenn Seal over at Monkey Blood Design. It's just loaded with stuff. So there is a box set for the Saints, or I should say the Bats of St. Albans, which is, I believe this is an Old School Essentials adventure. So receive that. We have Extinguish the Sun, which is for Troika. I think some of the stuff he sent me is just stuff he's worked on, not necessarily that's been released by Monkey Blood Design and Publishing. I almost forgot. Flaming Heron's with us today. Says, oh, totally forgot. Daylight savings. Haha. Hey, that's okay. We had screw-ups. The stream really didn't start until 7:30 Central tonight. So Fighting Folk of the Haven Isles. So this is part of the Midderlands setting, which I thought was really fun. I have actually covered some of the Midderlands. Then we've got Fair of the Stratus Fiend, which is from, I can't even make it out, Orbital Intelligence. I think this is some of the stuff that Glenn has done cartography or artwork for, but this is for Dungeon Crawl Classics. I've got little stuff in bags and stuff. This is wild. This is so cool. Glenn Seal is such a good person. Now, this is what I thought I had heard of before. Terror of the Stratos Fiend. So this is volume 1, volume 1.5, and volume 2. Dancing with Bullets Under a Neon Sun. All right, something else in a bag. Let's see what this is. It's almost like Christmas where I'm just pulling this stuff out and taking a look. So this is Ascalith, the Last Great City. I will take a stab in the dark that this is OSE, I think. I have heard of this. It's from Rabbit Halfling Press. Maybe this is system agnostic? Might be. So we've got that. I still have all this stuff to look at here, just to show you real quickly. Now, with all of this stuff showing up, what I'll probably end up doing is I will not do first look videos. Travis Williams says, what? No volume 1.75? Matthew Constantine says, that looks cool. Some of those DCC books have been on their radar. All right, so it looks like we have got some pre-gens or NPCs. And I think these are OSE. But I think they're for the Midderlands. And the Midderlands is sort of a fantasy England. The Midlands. Chewer of Fingers. I've heard of this. Is this a Dungeon Crawl Classics adventure? No, it's for the Midderlands. Sorry. So it is OSE. So we have got that. But wait, there's more. Okay, I have heard of this. I don't know why there are, oh, I see. So we've got Rancid Canyons of the Floating Death Sheep. Dungeon Crawl Classics. Swords and Wizardry. 5e. That's pretty wild. Men didn't need to send me all 3. They just picked one. Could just sent me Dungeon Crawl Classics. We have some region maps. They might be for this adventure. So that is a possibility because it was in the mix with those. All right, let's see. This is the last one. Let's see what we got. I think this is Midderland stuff. And I can't really... Murder Knights of something. It's here. I can barely make it out. So it's like, okay. Then we got Midderzine. We've got some issues of Midderzine, which I had shared, I think, the first 3 issues before. So we've got issue 4, 5, 6, and 7. Lots and lots of goodies. And then we've got a map, too, with the Lost World. And I know Glenn had mentioned he wants to get me a copy of the Handy Maps, which is a box set that he had released. I shared coverage of it. I think it's probably a couple of years now, maybe more than that. So I think he's got some new entries into that box set. So he was planning on sending that along at some point. I don't think it's ready yet, I think. But, man, that is a really nice haul. I got to say, really, really nice. So, very cool. Like that quite a lot. Okay, so I'm going to wrap up the show because I've actually been trying to get this stream out since 7 o'clock. So, we are actually on my clock, on my daylight savings. We're running it like an hour and a half almost for doing the stream, even though the stream is only running almost at an hour at the moment. But don't miss tomorrow. I will be sharing my review of the Walking Dead Universe role-playing starter set from Free League Publishing. This will be up in the morning. Last thing I do want to mention, and then I will wrap up, the second round of the March Tabletop role-playing game Madness event here at the Gaming Gang has come to an end. We are now in the 3rd round. So we are in the Sweet 16. There are some role-playing games that got bumped off that I was not expecting to get bumped off. And there was a really close contest. If I remember correctly, I think it was Delta Green won by a single vote. There was one that pulled it off by a single vote. And I have to say, I am really surprised that Tales from the Loop is still in it. But then I looked kind of back at the bracket and I was like, well, okay, it was going up against some weak competition. I don't foresee Tales from the Loop making it through to the next round. We've got the heavy hitters. The heavy hitters are left. So there are a few surprises. I will say there's a few surprises that are still in the mix, but we are looking at Traveler, Call of Cthulhu, Pendragon, RuneQuest, Delta Green, as I mentioned, Tales from the Loop. I think, oh yeah, Dragonbane is one. I think Old School Essentials is still in the running. Or I know Basic Fantasy is still in the running. So kind of interesting. But now I didn't memorize what the Sweet 16 matchups are. But I know Call of Cthulhu, I think it's going up, if I remember correctly, it's going up against RuneQuest. So one of those will fall. So we are going to see one of those fall. I think Traveler will move on. I think Traveler is going to be advancing. I don't know. I do not know. Well, but like Pathfinder 2nd Edition got knocked out. So that's out. Basic Expert's gone. AD&D is, I'm pretty sure, gone. I think that lost. So Matthew Constantine says, I love Tales from the Loop, though. I've run it a couple of times, played it too. Great game. Okay, so the reality is, I don't know if I'd want to be running that. So I like the game. Don't get me wrong. It's just, you got to keep in mind, I am probably going to be running this for strangers. So Perkins Dearborn asked, Fantasy Trip was in there? Come on. Perkins, you've been around long enough. That is a company that does not get named around here. Tunnels and Trolls was. Tunnels and Trolls was in the running. You got to keep in mind, I mentioned this before, maybe not all of you are aware of this, but all of the role-playing games that were in the field of 64, I have access, or I would have access to, in order to run. So there were some role-playing games that I just don't own, and I have absolutely no way to get my hands on without, shelling out cash. So they were not in the running. So that's why there are a few that you were probably like, well, as an example, like Star Wars. I don't have access to, Edge Studios now. I don't have access to that. And plus, it's sort of like 3 different setting books. And it's to me, I heard really good things about the Fantasy Flight Games, which is now the Edge Studio licensee or whatever for Star Wars. I heard really good things about the role-playing game itself. And people have said that the Genesis system is pretty good. I just never seen it. I've never checked it out. And I do think it's kind of weird that it's sort of like, okay, so if you want to play Jedi, you got to get this book here. But then this book over here is kind of like bounty hunters and smugglers and people who live on the fringe. But if you want this, then you got to get this book. It's sort of like, and they all are kind of core books, I think. Like I said, I've never checked them out. I've never read them. I would like to, be very honest. I ran a little bit of D6 Star Wars from West End way back in the day, and that was a pretty good game. It could get a little wonky with like a ton of dice getting rolled, but all in all, pretty decent. So, and of course, we've talked about it before that all those West End Games releases for the Star Wars role-playing game were canon. So people who wrote Star Wars novels would actually, pick those books up because they were considered to be canon. Pretty wild. All right. Kevin R. Smith says, The One Ring versus Dragonbane. That's a tough choice. Now we are going to get into the nitty-gritty with our March tabletop role-playing game madness, because the pretenders are gone. There's one Cinderella that's still floating around. I just was talking about it. I think all the rest have kind of earned their place. I think, if I remember right, is Cyberpunk still in it? Somebody's taking a peek at it. There we go. Where was Rogue? What did Rogue Thinker ask? BECMI was an option. No, I did have Basic Expert, but Old School Essentials was in there as well, and I had AD&D in there, Basic Fantasy. So the OSR is very well represented. I had Swords and Wizardry in there too. So yes, the OSR had plenty of representation. Nathaniel says they're running Dragonbane for the first time this Saturday. Very nice. Hope you have a good time. All righty. That is it for this time out. If you like this video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already. And if you do subscribe, don't forget, ring that bell because it'll not only let you know when the Dispatch streams live Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday evenings, normally at 7 p.m. Central, normally YouTube. And also inform you when I share other videos, such as tomorrow's review of The Walking Dead Universe role-playing starter set from my friends over at Free League Publishing. Of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit gaminggang.com for all latest in tabletop gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more you will not find here on the YouTube channel. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. If you're watching live, thank you very much. If you were watching live and returned again and again until the stream finally got straightened out, a bigger thank you. And of course, a tip of the cap to all of you who take part in chat, because not only do you keep me company, you keep each other company while I'm going through the news and such. But of course, I know a lot of folks out there, they don't have an opportunity to watch live. Doesn't matter if they're watching live or on Memorex. Really appreciate each and every one of you taking time out to watch any of the videos here on the channel. Everybody enjoy the rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time of day it is in your neck of the woods. I will be back again tomorrow, and I certainly hope you all get to enjoy plenty of great gaming with your gang.